one suicide every 40 seconds, which is really very disturbing. And the murder statistics are alarming. And many of us would agree that how many cases do finally get registered. Probably the much more number of cases go unnoticed, unregistered. People just disappear out of home, and their body is found somewhere without knowing how did they, whether they met the accident, whether they did something on their own. Many of the cases go unreported. Second thing I would say that you mentioned about the abetment to the suicide. And when there is a clear cut, well identified person or an individual or somebody who has been seen abetting suicide, he need to be punished fair enough. But I would say something which would be considered sensationalizing or something would be considered shocking to many people. I think the society at large is abetting suicide. Because when we were young, especially three of us who are in the 60s, three of us who are sitting in the panel over here, Mr. Lal, Mr. Deepak Jyoti, and myself, suicide was not talked about. It was very, very rare event because we enjoyed going to school. We enjoyed school atmosphere. We enjoyed school friends. We enjoyed school curriculum. We enjoyed school activity. And thereafter in the college, the suicide was not contemplated. The escape from the life was not even the last option. There is no way of any option. But today, over the last 30, 40 years of educational system, and I'm emphasizing on this word, modern educational system, has made it in such a way that every student is less interested in being educated, is being pushed more to outscore others. He has to achieve a certain grade. He has to reach a certain target. He has to reach a certain percentage. He has to come first. He has to outshine others. Now, in any class or in any educational matter, how many people can reach the top rank? Fair enough, there was nothing wrong principally to encourage young students to exceed whatever best they can bring out of them. But if it is not well explained, most people suffer, or most young people suffer because of the cancer called comparison. And I do use this word, comparison is the biggest cancer. That's the biggest reason for suicide. Because if every young person thinks that he is less capable than others, or he's less successful than others because he couldn't get desired grade in the exam with the SSC, with the HSC, with the intermediate, with the graduation, so they think the life is useless, worthless for them. So society, with their lopsided emphasis on the grade or the marks, has been indirectly and unwillingly or unintentionally responsible for abetting suicide. There's a very wide discussion, there's a wide mention of suicide. You open any day's newspaper in any section of the country, and which is disturbing that Maharashtra was topping the number, and now the Karnataka is topping the number because of the more number of people in being jobless, or despite Kerala being one of the highest educated society, highest educated state, yet there are so many people who are unemployed. So every day's newspaper, you'd find few cases mentioned about the suicide, and this is what they are reported. As I said, many cases go unreported. What we have to do, how we have to look into, and who are responsible for it. One thing we found, modern educational system, which is geared just for getting a degree with higher and higher marks. We are educating children for getting a good salary job. We are not making them being educated or being cultured or being enlightened or being fulfilled or being a responsible citizen. We are not creating people who are happy individuals, who are fulfilled, happy, contented in their own life, and so they would make others like. We are creating people in general all over the world when people are highly intellectually gifted, yet highly educated, also yet they are not well rounded, well developed, well grounded, well balanced personality. So they have lesser resistance to any kind of stress. I mean, how would you say people who have lived together for 7 years, a man and a woman, out of love, they have lived together 7 years, and first month of marriage, they break apart and they say that we are not made for each other. the first month of responsible relationship when husband and wife, and they can't bear the stress of adjusting with each other, they go for divorce in the first month after having lived together for 7 years. For many people who could not score 95% or 97%, I have a young boy in close my vicinity that who if he get 97 marks because his friends got 99% marks, he goes into severe depression. He often talks about suicide. He harasses his mother, so on and so forth. So this is becoming common. One thing more which I would like to point out over here, that media, electronic as well as print media, ever since this came on the scene, society is being talked about more, much, much more than it was ever talked about. If in the 50s or 60s or even in the 70s there was some suicide, it was confined to the newspaper unless it happened in someone in our close vicinity. Today, society is being talked about as if this is a easy way out of the problem, as if this is easy escape, as if this is affordable solution to the problem. Now, who decide what the problem is? A less developed, less cultivated, less strengthened individual who had been exposed to the very limited world of his own. He has yet to know that life is full of obstacles, life is full of problems. Problems would never disappear. We will have to grow our capacity to deal with the problem. We are just entering in that age of maybe 15, maybe 18 or 20, 25. What's the need for escaping from the world? If we are escaping, then we are also escaping any possibility of developing strength. If we could not pass a particular exam, that doesn't mean the end of the world. But since we are falling short, I'm talking on behalf of the young people, if we are falling short of the requisite strength, so we feel that we can't cope up with the future, so it's better to escape from this world. More and more society get talked about. I'm clear in my view, some of you may or may not agree with it. More and more people get motivated to think about suicide. As such, I would also explain a while later, almost every individual many a times in the life have had some suicidal thought that just came as a flash and went away. Some people do have intention of suicide, yet they have never talked about it. Some people have been contemplating suicide, but they don't have the guts for it. Some people having living in depression for last few weeks or few months, and they have been talking about suicide, but once in a while they have spoken about it to their friends or their relative, and the relatives or the friends have taken it for granted. They never heeded to it, which is a criminal negligence. Because my research was on the suicidal communication in the patient. Most people who commit suicide they inform in advance. So back to the main topic, every individual many times hit a deadlock in the life where he find there is a meaninglessness in life. Life is not moving. There's a much less joy in life. There's much less meaning. There's much less success. In many individuals, if they are not socially supported, if they are not emotionally supported by people around, be it in the family, be it in the friend circle, or be it the other circle which they have cultivated, emotional support system, self-help group, etc., then every individual find himself extremely lonely, unsupported, and think about suicide as the best option out. I am winding up my talk in the last 1 minute of my conclusion. A lot can be done about, excuse me, by every one of us. And before asking the government, before recommending it to the government, why not we at our individual level should think about what we can do. We have been giving license to live. We have been giving power to live. We have been giving comforts to live. We have been giving amenities and various facilities to live. Why not we should share it with someone? Little share little with someone, whatever we can. There have been plenty of people around Kerala or Karnataka or Maharashtra, all over the country, all over the world, who even with our little understanding or little support or little help, and help doesn't mean only financial help. Whatever we, even this program being organized by Mr. Goel and supported by Global TV and other TV channels, is that great help. Because I'm sure that people who are listening to it will certainly think twice before jumping to the conclusion of ending their life. So every one of us who want to live have to ensure that we add oil to someone's life whom the life force or the life oil was diminishing. So if we look into other people's life and connect to them and take care of them, we at individual level can do a lot.